As you can see here, Software creates an impressive 2D or 3D model under 2 minutes based on what they wrote here. And as you can see, the imagery that is moving on, or like what you're seeing here on the background. So you can create this kind of data or kind of imagery or the kind of map or kind of model uh, using software. And down here, as you can see, you see this type of maps. This is a geological map of software, so you can see the way it shows on relief, draw, and this kind of shape you are seeing. And as you can see here, it ensures accuracy, robot interpolation, eliminate uncertainty, reveal, insert, enhance, visual, and then it will give you through 3D maps. And then as you can see here, so you can see different types of maps you can use it to create. And you see here, this is a temperature data. This one here is a temperature. You can see another one here. This is another different map. This is another different map that have to do with other things. So you can see another different map here. You see this type of map. So these are just different maps that you can use software to create, and it's actually a great software. And we use it when we come about 3D types of map, and this gives us a very good and impressive visualization. Very nice visualization when it comes to creating of 3D maps or 2D model. Now in software, as you see here, if you install it, you open it up, you can see something that looks like this. Now you can create quickly map using home by using wizard. So on this one, I'm just going to close it. Here we have home, we have layout here. Then in under home, you see the options we have here. Under layout, we have this type of options. Under features, we have these options like name and rest of them. Under grid, we have a way of gridding data, we have a way of assigning data, coordinate system, mosaic, extract, point sampling, transform, slice map, volume, grid data, edit data. Under map here, we have other things like layout and rest of them. Some of them are not active, but will be activated once you actually start up with your maps. And then we have review here. Now under home here, like they said, we can create the maps using wizard. So we can try creating a map using map wizard, which is what we have here. Now what do I mean by map wizard? When you go through here, you see like me, you want to create this type of map. You can see this. You see that once you click on it, it should be able to show you like a template of what you are like. You can this type of map you can see here. You can see I just want to click on those options so that you should be able to understand what I'm trying to say. So if you have a data where you have listing and nothing, see like this, and then you want to create this type of map, you go ahead. Then this is another grid type. You can see different types of grid type that you're seeing. So I'm just going to scroll on it. You see this one here. I'm just going to like click on it. This is when you're talking about a LiDAR or sort of things like that. So when you go on each and every one of them, you should be able to see what I'm talking about. So this is this type of map that have to do with temperature, grid survey, about. So you see what I'm just trying to show you, just to show you like if you go launch your own, you should be able to have this type of maps that looks like this. So you can use grid when you click on next, and then you can import the data automatically, and that's going to be created for you. But you see here, we have here as base map, can create an empty one. We have here as post or classified. We have here, you can specify the type of maps you want to create here. We have relief here. We have grid data here. So there are different things you can do in here. Now this is the menu, and then this is also here by content. They will have content in ArcGIS Pro. And this is the info about the data, and this is the map layout where the map display on the paper you want to do. When you right click on it, you can do a page setup here, where if I want it to be A4 or A3, I can go ahead and click on A4 and A3. Orientation, if I need a landscape, I will change it. If I need a header, portrait, I will change it. So which of them goes in here? So you can see the way I change it, and that is here. So this software is a very good and a powerful software, and sometimes you use it in creating different things. So, and that's why you might be using it off and on, but generally it's a software that you need to know how to use perfectly, because in some cases you will need to use it. Now if you look at what I am showing you here, you see now that this kind of 3D model you see here, you want to see pure relief, like you can see here, with wireframe covering on it and the rest of them. Now one of the best software to create it, to use to create it, is actually software, because it shows you great impression. So let's quickly dive into it. When you're working on geological map, as you can see here, it's a very good one. You're working about temperature, it's a good one. You're working about rainfall, it's also a good one. So what makes you perfect is your ability to use different software at every point in time. That's what gives you an edge. So now on a quick one, how do you work with software? Like I said, you can use map this, and I have different sample of data as related to your country. Go ahead. So I have different data as related to your country, and then this is the soil map of Rwanda, a sample collected in different locations across Rwanda. And here we have the pH, we have these are just the different parameters that it was collected in Rwanda. You can use this type of data. Any data that is 2D or 3D model can actually be used. What I mean by 2D, can be only X and Y. And if you look at what we have here on what I mean by 2D or 3D means that you can plot 2D, that is X and Y, or 3D kind of impression. Now that's going to work perfectly. Now if you look here on the software, you see this is the layout. How do you start? You can start by bringing Excel directly to here. You can click on grid data, and when you click on grid data, it's asking you to talk about the Excel. You can bring it in here, or in under here where you have this layout. Like when I started, you can see that it is asking me for it is asking me when I launch this, it's asking me for the data like the Excel format. I can also click on it to grid it from there. Now generally, this is just the way you can start with it. And if you have a data that you want to grid, you can grid it directly here, or you can grid it by this. Now the best way to go is you can go onto new here, and you can see worksheet. If you have a worksheet here, you create a new one here. When you go to file, you see worksheet, you create a new one. Assuming that this is the data I want to work on, as you can see here, I can go ahead and select all the data that I want to work on here. So I want to assume that this is this particular one that I want to work on. So I'm going to select all of them by copy, and I can come back to software here and paste it. Now you can see this shows us here A, B, C, D, the way I collected it from beginning to the end here. So you can see every data is having here. So what do I need to do? I can go ahead here, as you see sheet 1 here, I can save it. Now if I want to save it, I can go ahead and save it here. Now let me quickly save it in our folder where all our activities are being done. So I'm going to here, just once quickly to where we save it. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and save it. So I'm going to data here, and let me just click on a folder and say software and put it inside there. And we now put it, this is soil data, Rwanda soil. So now this, as you can see here, I have saved it. I want to save it as command eliminated. You see the way I make it here, so I can go ahead and click OK, and that is saved here. Now anytime either you go this way or you have the data already in Excel prepared, you can import. So in that way, I'm also going to go in that folder that I just created now, the folder I just created now, just to show you the two ways of going around it. So I'll go inside the folder we just created now. So we go in here, and I still go inside here, go into the badge, go into the data, and then we have software. As you see, is this one here, and then you can see the data created here. I can also click on plus sign here, and let me go down to Microsoft Excel, and then I'm going to put it now, Rwanda underscore soil underscore data. For example, it doesn't have to be underscore, but I just want to differentiate it from the other one. Now if I click here, and that's going to come up open. So once this opens, Rwanda soil here, so I can still paste it here. So you can see here the same data in Excel here. I can save it. So I'll go ahead and save it, and I can close it up, and I can close this one up. Now let me return back here again. Now you see I've already have this one here. So the next thing I can do is I will return home here, and I can click on grid data. When I click on grid data, you see these two data here. This is the first one I did here. I'm going to click open. Now I give it a bit time. Now this is what is necessary. If you look here, you see now that it's asking me which of the field is X. Now which one of them is longitude or latitude. Now from this data you see here, you see we have latitude and longitude here. So you can go ahead and select it based on that. What did I do? Home, grid data first, and you can see I selected this. I click open. What is longitude here? The longitude here is, because it's asking me X, which is latitude C, I'm going to select C. Longitude what is D, I'm going to select it. Which of these data do I want to plot? You can see here that I have pH, so I want to do the pH of distribution of Rwanda. So I'm going to Z factor, I'm going to say pH, which is I want to do the pH. I'm going to select pH now. Now you look here, you see now that here we have the grading method, we have cranking. These are different methods of interpolation that can be used here. Now for this sake, I'm going to leave it on cranking. Now there also you can do cross validating and rest of them. So, and you can see you can generate also report, you can cross validate, you can also define minimum and maximum of where you want to go ahead and do. Then you can also see here Z, do you want it to save it as log. So you can choose to leave it by default, except you have a reason for getting this done. You can click on next, and now you can see that it created a grading for you. And one of the reasons I was trying to download 2025 is that if you see the grading of this data and the report, you will be amazed, because it is better, and that's why I was trying for us to install a beta version, because that's better than this what we are having here. Now if you look at here, you see that it has shown you the column you created, C, this and this, and it shows you how many data you worked on, and you can see here duplicate, and you can see the report here. This is statistic of what you did here. So you can see under this data X and Y, you see every information, the mean, for the mean of the data, this is the media, this is geometric mean. Now you can see every information about the data you use here. Now when you talk about the intervariable covariance, you can see it here. When you talk about the intercorrelation, you see it here. You talk about the interrank correlation, you see it here. Principal component, and that is PC 1 and 2, so you can see it for each of them. Polar regression, you can see the polar regression here. When you talk about nearest neighborhood statistic, you can see it here. Each and every of this report is very, very important, because if you are doing analysis, depending on what you are doing, this report gives here can be applied. And I will try to see maybe next time that we are able to use the other one, which is 2025. So I will find a way around it, and then you can see the steps, and if the creation of this report is better, and even the way you select, and you can see it plotting a different graph for you that you can use to beautify or make your report better than what we just see here. Now once this is done, you can see I've created it. Then I can return back here. Now what type of map do I want to create? And this is why it is very, very quick. Assuming I want to create it as a contour, I'll click on contour here. You can see it have generated the Rwanda soil for me here automatically. What do I need to do? I can click on it here, and that gives me in contour part straight. Now That's for contour. At the same time, I'm still here. I want to go ahead with 3D. Let me use the relief map of it. Look at here. I can click on it, and that gives me the relief map as related to this. So if I'm producing contours, so at the same time, I can decide to overlay some of them. So now this is what you can see here. This is the creation as related to this particular map of this data. This is it on the here. This is it on the relief. This is it on the contour. Now if you see here, you see now that this is the major and this is the minor. This is 7.2, and this is the spatial distribution of pH in the entire Rwanda. So you can see here showing you different kind of relief or different kind of way it is being graded around here. So this is the relief aspect of it. You can represent the same map using this way. Now you can see here that we have this one in this pattern, and you see that we have this showing this way. So you can also create it by contour. You can see base map here. There are other different patterns you can use here to create that. Now before we go on again, you see here we have other different aspect of map, so which if you select here, you can see that this layer has been activated for us. So if you want to create it by either cloud point, grid one, watershed, then you want to do it by 3D surface, for example, you can go ahead with any of them that you want. Like if you click on it, you see the simple way I click on it, and that's automatically gave me this particular feedback instantly. I didn't do any other stress. I didn't stress myself much again, but you can see here, this is the 3D map of Rwanda. Now the table of content is here. At any point you click on each of them here, that's change you to the information I have here. Assuming I want to change the way it shows here, I can go ahead to say terrain. I can go ahead to change it to rainbow, and once I click OK, and that's going to change the map to that particular pattern. Now under here I have the shading. I can enable the way I want it to show by starting with the general layers here, and down here we have different other ways you can show it here. Then under here we have layer, opacity. Under here we have info. You can also add info as related to it here. Under here, this is general. If you click on each of them, you can see it changing to that particular pattern. If you want to draw a base map, you can add the base to it. Then each of them, anytime you click on it, you see it's not the same thing. If you look at mesh here, if I need to draw a line, because I click on 3D, so let me turn off this. And if I click on 3D, if I add mesh line to it, and you can see this goes into mesh for X. And if I add mesh for it on Y, and you can see this shows for X for Y. I can also change the frequency. I want the frequency to be 10, for example, and I also want this frequency to be 20, for example. And each time I click on it, that mesh also change in this particular pattern. If I need it the way it is, I can leave it there, or I can also leave it here. Now this is for mesh. This is here is for general. You can always show color scale here. If I click on the color scale here, you can see the color scale coming here, so which I can adjust a bit to where I want it to be. Now generally, this is the scale. You see the way I click on the scale, I can put the title here, test title here. I can just put it grid or scale, or let me just type scale here, and once I type the scale here, you can see it coming up here. What is the position? I can change the position by saying I want it to be on the bottom, so you can see the scale coming here. Now this is just for you to readjust the scale. Now at this point in time, there is something we call, you can put a base map. If you want to have a base, you can put the base here, and under this base, if you want to use the shapefile, you can use it. So you can see different other types of map format here that can be used, from KML to other than you can add. But now what I want to talk about that is important also is that while you are creating a Rwanda, this does not define a particular shape of Rwanda. So what do you need to do? When you are doing a grading the data here, or when you assign a grading data, there is also another option here that we call grid here. Then you can assign where there is no data. What do I mean by where there is no data? You click on the grid here, and then you can decide to say you want to grid it with which of them do you want to grid. Let me remove, I want to remove the contour because I'm interested in 3D, so I'm going to remove the contour part, which is this one. So I can always right click and remove it anytime I want. Then this one is 3D relief, so I can choose to leave 3D relief for what I want to do. So I can remove this one. Let's just stick with one of them first. Now in assigning node data, I can click on assign node data. Which of them do I want to work on? On this one is what I want to assign node data. What shape do I want to use? So I'm now going to go for a Rwanda shape file. So in this, I'm going to click browse here, return here, go to data as well, and you can see we have Rwanda here. Administration, I want to use 0, which is administration 1. So you can see here I'm using 0 shapefile. Now click on this, and I want to say that which place do I mean that there is no data. I'm going to say that no data inside, no data outside. So I will say no data outside. Now where do I want to put out the grid? You can also put the grid here. So I can decide to rewrite this and put it Rwanda, for example. And then which other map do I want to put? If I'm done, I can say I want to plot it with color, relief, or contour, or any of them, relief shaper. So if I run this, it says entire data was assigned, no data. Entire data was assigned, no saving. So I think there is an issue because of the size of it, and that's why it was not able to work. So I think I will check that out and we see what happened, because yeah. So what I was trying to do is that if you go to home and bring in here, that where we have the layout, and you want to say post, for example, if you want to add another data, so you can go ahead and add Rwanda shapefile. As you can see here, this is different types of data format. Then you can see here we have comma delimited. If you want to add a data of point, you can go ahead and add the data, but you see Rwanda shapefile does not have a data. So if you have a point that you want to add, you can always select the point. Like you see here, we have admin 0 or we have admin 1, for example. If you open it up here, then it will be able to show you the data that have to do with that particular extent. So this one will be able to show because it's not a point file, but I'm going to bring in the one that have point file, a way you can label them by point. So this is the way you can get them done. Then here under where we have, this is base here. So you can also bring in the Rwanda shapefile, like if you want to open it up here. So you can see here showing me a Rwanda shapefile. So if you overlay the Rwanda shapefile with this 3D map, so you can see where the Rwanda shapefile is bounded. So you can see the shapefile of Rwanda. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get the data of Rwanda shapefile in such a way that it will only show us the boundary, like this data. That's why I wanted to go with assign, where I go ahead with assigning no value that under here, what I was trying to do. So with this, I can create a map of Rwanda only cutting across only Rwanda, not bringing in beyond Rwanda. So this is what I wanted to do. So it will cut it off in Rwanda, in this particular pattern. Now, but this is what I want to do. Maybe the number of polygon is much, so it's not able to actually cut it off. But if you have a data, you can use this way now to cut it off and only see the one that is shown within Rwanda. So what it means is that if you look at this, you can see the shape of Rwanda and be able to get this off. Now the good thing aspect of it is, if you see the way I click on this, and you see here that I have the relief map here, which is 3D. At any point in time that I want to remove this, it is easy for me to click on this. You can see here on that mesh here, you see the way I put it off. If I check it off, it goes, and if I check this one off here, it goes. It only retain this one from around here. So this is a way you can get this one done. So this is now showing you the pH of Rwanda based on this data, which the data which we have here. So you can see this is the pH of Rwanda. You see where we have 7. We see here they say the 11. Then Gahanga is having around 11. Sorry. Then under Kimironko is having about 4. So you can see the distribution of that particular pH of Rwanda based on this. So you can see where it is high, where it is low. So this can show you up to this place reach 8 point something around. Here we have blue, then where we have around this yellow is about 6, where we have 7 is all these places are a bit of acidic. So you can see the distribution of Rwanda. Like I said, you can plot it either by using contour, which is going to work perfectly, or you can plot it by using relief, which is also going to work perfectly. So this is if it is relief, you can also see here. So let me step back a bit to where we have sulfur, and you can still see this data that I've graded. Anytime you can just pick it up, and you can see this is the relief map of the same place we are talking about. So you can see the difference between the relief map and this one. So you see the difference between them. So it's almost the same thing. Yeah. So but this relief, as you see, this gives you in this color, so which you can always change the color to another types of color, either to terrain. You can change it here. You can always bring it up here. This is geology. Click OK, and it shows you in geology. So there are different templates here that you can look for the one that match what you want to do, and then be able to select it here and zoom. And the good aspect of it is that the way it is going up here, you can anytime of your choice like change the way it is showing. Like you see the reflection, you can change it to simple, you can change it to this kind of interpolation, you can change it to this type of interpolation. What is the central difference? You can make it midpoint different. Then the Z factor, you can also adjust the Z factor here. Then if you want to make edit on each of the color that you want, assuming that I want to make edit on the chloroplate depth here, if I click OK, this is what the chloroplate depth shows me here. But under here, I want to change the way it is showing. I can also change the way it is showing here by different colors as I want it. Then midpoint difference, if I want it central difference, good. If I want to adjust the Z scale, I can also make an adjustment on it. But here, I can change the way it is showing here. But if you look here, you see now that we have under here, you can reverse it. If you reverse it and click OK, that goes into reverse. Also here, you can make color, opacity, you can change the way it is showing here. Then here, you can also make adjustment here the way you want it, and once you click OK, that's going to be applied for you to change the color to that particular pattern. Then like I said, you can always use this one to select it to whichever way you want it, and that's going to work perfectly for you. So this is a way you can make adjustment on the color, and anytime you select it, before you can see the scale here, make sure that this one is selected here. Once you select it, you can see the layer here, the general here. Then you can now, that's only when info, and here general coordinate system here, then info, then you can see layer here, you can see, yeah. So when you, anytime you want to do anything you want to do as related to this particular one, make sure that that particular map is selected, because you have a bit of adding mini maps like you can see here. So if you select this one, it means that I am referring to this one. If I select this one, it means I'm referring to this one. Now in here, you can change it the way this one is, because you see I added Rwanda shapefile, and that is why we have Rwanda shapefile here. Now under here, if I don't need anything on Rwanda, I'll click on this and all of them will go once. If I need it back, I'll click on it, it will come back. Then on this layer, I can remove right, left, the grading. You can see what is here is Rwanda. In this one here, click on it here like this. You can change the way all these things are showing. How do you change them? Now you see here that I have here, if I click on this one, this will go. So that means I am referring to this one. Now when you click on it here, the properties here comes out. Now the first thing you see here is general. Under general, this is where I put to show the scale. If I turn it off, this will go. If I turn it on, this will come back. If I show layers, this is where you control layer, upper, lower, method. This is don't draw. If you have draw to, you go ahead. Then this is baseline, like I've shown you before. If you turn it on, you see what is going to come. If you turn it off, you see what is going to happen on it. Now, here mesh is what I showed you. You put up a mesh like this, and the line comes out or go in. you can put the interval. Then under here, which is lightning, you can change the way the lightning goes. None, you change it to none. You can see here. Under here, smooth, you put it in the smooth. Under here, flat, it puts you in flat mode. So you can see the color or the texture changes of this particular map. And you can also adjust by dragging this in this pattern, or dragging this one in this pattern, depending on the way you want to make it. So but smooth, return it to smooth, then flat, none, return it to none. So at any point in time you can make adjustments to it. So now this is smooth, then it takes you to smooth, so you can see the way the color is and how it turns a bit black. So all are controlled by the way you drag this and the way you put up this. So if you put it up, the way you put it up is how that's smooth. This is going to change. Now overlay here also shows you maybe how the resampling. Remember when talking about raster and I'm saying you neighborhood resampling type, I had linear, I have cubic, I have, so you can also make it the same way. And this is a place you are going to make it either linear or this. Resolution here gives you on the resolution depth that you want it to be. You can also talk about the color and rest of them here. Under info, you can also do something on the info about it, but generally anytime you click on this, you should be able to see what you have here, and you can change it to go on with what you have as related to that particular map, and that's changing completely. Now like I said earlier, the good aspect of this particular part is that if you see here, I'm going to right click and remove, right click and remove, also right click and remove, and everything about this map is gone. And anytime I want to plot it again, you can see here, this is relief, this is 3D wireframe. If I want to go with 3D wireframe, it's simple. Once I graded the data here, the map is done. So you can see the 3D relief here. This is just like showing you 3D relief. If it is a contour you're plotting, you see it's appear here. So it doesn't need you to stress yourself. This is show lower number. Anything you click on it here, so you can see how the map is showing here. Now it's showing in 3D wireframe. And here, color zones, I can edit the color level, Z level, I can also edit the Z level. Then under general, I can edit the general here by clicking on this, and each of these things can actually be edited to show me what it is. So it is simple, and if I want to remove it, I can click on the map here, delete, and it's gone. I want to go to 3D surface again just once, and here the maps gets open in this particular part, so you can see the 3D format of it here. This is what it shows here. Then I can click on it and readjust these things particularly to how I want it to be. So you can see the shape here. I can readjust it to how I want it, and I can add a base. The base comes here, so you can see the base here. Assuming I want to see something in 3D, so I can see it here. And if I want to do view, I can pan. That's why I said I'm going to try to see if we have up to 2025, so you can see the beauty of it. Like this particular part, I will try all I can to see we have the beta version, not this one, because that one we can automatically see the profile, and this will answer the question Balak asked me last time. You can draw a line and you can see the slope distances on each of them if it is the slope that you are looking at, and that's going to show be perfectly for also. I will try to see the way we can get across the 2025, but even this one, it have the profile here, as you see here, the profile. So when I have the planner one, I'm going to bring in the profile so that not 3D, so you can see the way it is. But you can see here, this is the twisting here, so you should be able to see how you can rotate it the way you want to rotate it using this particular tools here. And this is 3D view. Once you activate it, so it's ought to show you in 3D, where you can do it like this, and you can turn it the way you want to see it up like this. Then here under here, you can see now that this is the background of you have it. Then you can change it from sky plot to color, and it only remain color. If it is by sky plot, skybox, you go to skybox, and you can now say model it by, I want it to be the airline. So you can see here, you want to put it something here, so you can change it for it to return here, and this is what you're referring to. And this is sky block type. You can see cloud ray, So you can see this is what it looks on this one. You go ahead to dark stormy, this is what it looks on the dark stormy. Then you go ahead to feed one, so it goes into this type of feed. So you can, if you want to do something like aesthetically, so you can go ahead and place them on this aesthetically. Remember, you need to define when you want to start with this type of thing, you might need to define everything well. So you see, this can give you a kind of aesthetic view of what you want. And you can see here the moon is there, so this is what it looks on the full moon, this is what it looks on the sunset, this is what it looks on the tricky cloud here, then this is what it looks. So this is a different plot to cast on it. This is what we're using on default. If you want to put water, you can add water. Now if you see this one, if it is the water level that we are talking about, you see here that you said you want to do a flood simulation. For example, you want to see how do this flood look like, and you have an elevation. Remember, like I said, you can use elevation. I am just using this because I'm talking about x, y, and z. So if it is an elevation, so you can see now that you can use it to simulate. This is what flood would look like here. So if, for example, you can bring building footprint here, you can bring any type of data here. If you overlay it on the building footprint, you can say, okay, because this water is going to reach here, so that means these people that is staying here are going to be covered by flood. So you can see the way I put the base map water level here from the map. So I put the water level on it. Now I can change the base of the water level by dragging it across. Now the water level is bigger than, so the water level is bigger than the plot, so you can see here. But if the water level is, let's say, 0.1, so you can see the water level bringing up here. So this is the color of the water level. So you see now that if it is water level you are referring to, everybody that is here, they are safe. But if the water level move to 6.9, you can see the way it is changing. Now you can see how many damage is going to cause. So this is the way you can work on the water level if you want to simulate water on it. Now you can change the color of the water here. This just depends on you, and then you can show also the opacity by dragging it here and bringing it up here. So you can see here the water level coming in this particular pattern. Now this is the camera aspect, so where you can change the view of the camera. Then this is the lighting aspect, where you can also change the ratios. So in here you can pan, here you can walk it through, here you can do the rotation, which is what I was using here. Then you can see the way this one shows here. So if it is the simulation you want to get here, you can get it here. You can create, you can edit, you can say this place as home. It will always know that this is your home. Anytime you click on go home, it will return here. So just like the way we do bookmark, then if I put it here and say set here as home, anytime, even if I'm like this and I want to return home, I'll just click on go home and it take me to that level. So this is, yeah, in this is the aspect of 3D view, which you can always return back, exit from 3D view, and this is under environmental. So when you go here 3D view, then you can copy this at any point in time. Remember that nothing happened to your plot, because in your plot one, this giving in your plot one, the map is still intact, but you wanted to simulate what this thing looks like. If assuming this is a flood that comes in here, okay, if it is a flood, this is what this looks like. Remember, this tab is here for you, which you can always fall back to, and you have this here. So in this particular pattern, you can go ahead to plot any maps you want by using this data. Like I said, it is easy because once you have gridded, it is easy for you to get it done. Looking at the data we have, which is under this DLT, any other time you want to work on another data, just go to the title here. As you can see here, if I want to work on magnesium distribution, I want to work on EC distribution of Rwanda, the same thing I need to do here. You can see if you have EC here, I'll just go here to map home, and I'll go to grid, and I will say under grid in here, I can go ahead and grid it with it. Then what do I need to do? I'll say grid data again. This will come up, the same data that I have here. I'm going to select it. Now if it is Excel, now click on the Excel file. If you have it in Excel, click open, then it's going to open up like this again for you. select the X and Y which it have picked. And now I don't want to go to this, I want to go to SO4, I want to go to SAL, or I want to go to EC. Now in this EC, I'll go ahead and do it. Where do I want to save it? I can always remember this because I want to change it. So you see here it is showing me soil data underscore. You can edit it. Once you are done, you click on this and that's going to run and also generate the report for you, giving you every statistical data or report that you want to do. And once that is done, it's also done here. If you want to create, if I want to save it, if not, I don't want to save it, I will discard it. Once you created it, I've already created it for you. Go down and say what type of map do you want to plot. Is it a contour map or what type of map do you want to plot? So you can go ahead and say I want to plot this type of map. So if it is a contour map, you return here and say that one I want to show, I want to do it as a contour map. So go ahead, click on it, and you can see it here. Select it and then just click open, and that's going to open it up for you. So this is the contour map of the EC that we use. So if I click on this one, I can check it off. So let me check it off completely. So this is the EC map that we have created. At the same time, you can create contour and then put a relief map on it like this for it to look better. So you can see here showing the relief map. What do you need to do here? You can see 3D here. This is relief map. This what is the contour? This is the contour here. This map can also be selected and drag over, add it here. So when you add it here, so you can see this now showing us both of them on top of it. So you see this is what the EC looks like here. Now on this one, let me send this one home. I don't need it now, but on this relief map here of Rwanda, this is where you can also add show scale. You can see the scale here, coming here to give you on the scale. Under where you select this, when you select this one now, the properties also come here. What do I mean by the properties? You can put the title, like I said. You can put in the title. I've shown you how to put the title. Once you select this property is going to come. This is the info as related to it. This is the property here. You can change the property. Click on this plus sign, gives you every information about that particular one. On the title, the same thing. On the labeling, you can change the way the labeling looks like. You can say minimum and maximum. This is auto, this is not auto. You can also drag it across here. Remember, since we're talking about Rwanda, it is better we change the paper type to something that looks like this. So look at page setup, like I said earlier, and I'm going to make it in landscape, and I'm going to click OK. Now on a quick one for today, we might not need to put the shapefile since it was not working, but I'm going to return back to that later. But I can now decide to drag Rwanda and fit it in this way. Take this one here and put it up here. Then drag this one and put it this way to the right here, and drag this one to in here. Then what happens again, I can take this one to fit it perfectly on the paper. I want to show the easing and nothing. Now on a quick one, I want to run fast because I don't want us to overshoot the time. Now here, let me start with here. Now I have removed this because I don't need it, so I'm going to delete this completely, leaving only these two things. So you can see the major and the minor label. Now if I want to add the Rwanda shapefile like I told you earlier, so we can add the Rwanda shapefile by selecting it here. But let's not add it today, let's just leave it on the default like this first. Now let me show you what you can do here. First thing is here we have map. You have the map here. Right here, if I want to show on the right one, you see this thing. If I click on the left one, this left, look at this one, is being turned off. Look at this green on the top, click on it, this is being turned off. So you can see now that those green on right and left is now turned off. If I click on the bottom here, what happens? This one is being cleared here. If I click on this one here, this one is also cleared here. You can see here. Now let me put the bottom and the left part of it now to explain something here and here. Now if you click here on the left here, the properties of this one show here. Now you can see scale, you can see grid. If you click on each of them, you click, the property is what you have here. Now let me start with the bottom. Now under bottom here, if you click automatic here, this is just automatic labeling, minimum and maximum, reverse axis. So you can see here, you can reverse the axis by clicking on it like this. Now leave it by, though you don't have to revise the axis. Now look at the bottom here. This is every information about it. This is gridding line, show grid line. So if you want to grid the bottom, you can see the grid line here being shown. Now this is show minor line. You can see the minor here if I want to put it, but let me leave it on the major line. Now underline property here, you see solid or dotted line. So if I want to change the way, I will change it. If it is dotted line, I can also change it. So this is solid here, as you can see here. If I want it another color, I can go with another color. If I need to show anything I need to do here, I do it under the line property here. Then if I need it another color, like I said, yellow, I can go ahead. You can see it changing to yellow. If I need it in black, I'll still leave it in black. Then if I need it in gray, I'll put it in gray. So you can see the color in the gray pattern here. So this is it. You can see the way I'm changing it. Now, or here is also the color size. This is the width. If I click on this, this is going to increase the width for me. So for this, I'm going to leave it in black to explain. So you can see this width, and this, I'm going to reduce it at any point in time I want to reduce it. So this is for nothing. Now, in this grid is this grid intervals you see here. Now let's go to grid. Let's go to scaling. This is the scaling. Let's go to info. Let's go to label. Now under label here, you can show label. You can see. If I don't want label, I will remove it here. This is the coordinate part. This is the angle. If you see here, you can see the way it's changing. I can put it on this. In 90, it is okay. So this one is better to be in 0. Now, what is the offset? I can also check the offset in here. The label format. The label format I will open here. I don't want it in this. I want it in normal label. So you can put it in compact, fixed, exponential. This is exponential. You open up here. This is fixed. This is fixed here. Then in the fixing here, I want to put it in degree. How many decimal places? Then you can also put it in compact. You can see the compact here. How many this? So if I want to put it in fixed, I can go ahead and put it in fixed and say I want it in 2 decimal places. So I can put 2 here, and then you can see it coming up in 2 decimal places here. Then in thousands, you go ahead. In absolute, this is also time exponential. So the best thing is you can uncheck this one and leave it. If you need it in fixing, you can put, for example, I want to put Ame. I can go and type Ame here. So it may become the fix of it for each of them. So if I want to put it like degree, I can also put degree here for each of them. Now this is a way you can work on it. If not, leave it empty. That is prefix. So all of us know the name of prefix. Then you can leave it there. So this gives you in this pattern. So this one as well, if I want to go to this one, because I want to rotate it the way we need to go, I have to click on left here. Then I will still come back here where we have the labels here, that we want to put it in the same way. So it is in 2 decimal places. As if you want to put it in 2 decimal places, remember here that you need to change it to fix and then return this thing to 2 decimal places, like the way I did in this one. Now, but at the same time, I want to change the label, the rotation or whatever I want to do it. So you remember that under here where you have angle 270, you have this here. You can do the rotation here, but it's always better you rotate it onto this option. So I can put it in 360 and it goes into this particular labeling pattern for me. This is the ascending order I want to label it. And at the same time, still click on the left. And if you want to put the grading across this one, you can also put the grading across that one. The same thing I did here. So this is scaling. This is thick. You can see outside. If you need it inside, you go ahead and put it inside. So you can see how we change. Else it is none. So you can go to none, or you can put it outside. This is style. How do you want the style to be? Outside. The same thing. This is for tick. This is for label. This is for general. This is X and Y. What is the plane? If you want to label the Z, if not, leave it on X and Y. Then this is the title of the text. If you want to put the title on it. So like for example, what I mean by title is I want to put east, that is Y, or I can put longitude, for example, longitude. Now what means is that when I type this now, and then it is this longitude will appear here if I want to put it here. That's what comes. So this comes in like this. If not, you can remove it if you don't want to put anything there. Go ahead and leave it. Grid line intervals. If you want to show, click on this, and this the horizontal shows here. Then you can see here this is a way you can adjust this. See the way it is showing now. So for the sake of this, I can choose to remove the grid line and then go to the bottom and also remove the grid line here. So we have it up cleared in this particular pattern. Now in the contour, which is this one, so you can see the way the contour shows here, we have the minor and major. The contour I'm referring to now is, let me turn off this one we have here. Now in here we have general, where we have smooth me. You see medium, look at what is changing here. Just if you look critically here, this contour is supposed to be well aligned, not showing you this kind of thing. So in this part, high, you can see the way it curves. So this is better for me because contour is supposed to be well curved, flowing the pattern. So I'm going to use high. Then under here we have fill pattern here. If you want to fill it, is left for you. So if you say fill, you see here, you can go ahead and do the pattern how do you want it to fill or those things. So you can fill the pattern that way. Then if not, you can still leave it on none and then nothing will be filled for you. Then this is under here, you can change it to this type of dashed line if you want. No, so this is now a fault. If you need the fault line to be in black or other color, so you can go ahead and say I need the flag to be in red color. So it is the wherever you have fault is going to be in red color, but if not, leave it in black. Now this is levels, this is method levels. Here we have advanced, so you see the way it change. You have here, you can change the method level, so it's always good to leave it in simple. Now this is minimum, maximum, you can reset anytime you want here. If you want the major contour to be 5 meters in, what do I mean by major contour? If you have 1 to 3, you see that between here to here is 5, 5, you have another major contour. If you want it to be 10, if you want it to be 2, you go ahead and make at every 2 intervals you have major and minor. So that means 0.1, 0.2, you have another major, 0.1, 0.2, another major, but let's leave it default by 5. So I'm going to leave it defaultly by 5. Now this is fill contour. If I click on fill contour, that's going to bring this kind of fill for me. How do I want it to be filled for me? I want it in this particular pattern. So you can see this map of this contour are being filled in this particular pattern of the way it shows. So you can make your fill here, and the moment you put the fill, what happens is going to bring you the color scale here to actually explain what you're saying. But in this way, this one has been blocked. So if you're filling contour, that means you're working with only contour, so you can get this contour fill in this particular pattern. Major, you can show label. If you want to show all the label, you go ahead. If not, you can only label the major without minor. When you label as well, you can also say show orientation. You can change the way the orientation goes. That's left for you. But if you want to label minor, for me, I'll leave it here because I don't want it to cluster, and at the same time I don't want to fill contour for now because I've already added a relief map to show me how it shows. Now let's quickly, this is layer, this is info about it, this is level. So let's go to the relief here. Then when you go to relief, when you click on the relief map here, now let's see what is there. Under general, we have all this here. The same thing I have already explained to you. Then under layer, we have this under coordinate system. So we only have the general here, which helps you adjust your contour. So like I've told you, anytime you can click on this to change the color that you want it to change to. So here, constructive, so you can see here. Now this is a good one, so you can see the way this shows you this pattern of based on this particular way. So yellow, you change it to this, then you can select the one you want here, but let me leave it on there. Let me leave it on the terrain that we are using. Then here, anything you do here will be changed the way it shows in for you. This is the vertical scale factor. Now let me copy this number, and then I'm going to put 45. Then what happens is when you put 45, you can see the way it changed the pattern too. So if I put vertical scale factor, remember what I said by vertical exaggeration last time. If I put on this, you see the way it changed too. But I don't want to put, I want to leave it on the default, on what the software or the algorithm says this is what looks better. So that if you make it, you start putting it in vertical, so you can start seeing bigger hole on it. Now under no data, where there is no data, that one is a different thing. We are going to talk about it, but this is enable hill shading. If you unturn this, you see the way it shows here, become flat here, gives you the hill shading to show you these ones you have here. Then this is it, and then you go ahead here, layer, nothing is there. So once you finish with this, for example, now we can add other information, a quick one, because we have, this is actually exactly 1 hour. Then you go here, then I'm going to type, I think we use, I don't know, let me check the data. We are using EC. I don't know the meaning of EC for now, but it is actually part of the soil data. So I'm going to type it Rwanda EC map. Then, so I'm going to click OK. Now you can see the title here. You can see the title here. So click on select here to pick up these tools. So you can drag the title to fit it on the center. Put it the way you want it. Then drag it here like this. Then under here, the property can always be clicked here. As you can see, anything you click here, the properties comes in here. Now look here, I can increase the size here, as you see. So I can increase the size of the text that I want to put in there. So this is the way I can increase it here. Then I can drag it here to fit it in the way I want to fit it in. Then you have also the opportunity to lock it. If you don't want to move, if you lock position, the position will be locked here, which can also be gotten as well as here. Then this is bold. If you click on it, it becomes bold. This is italic. This is stripe. This is underline. Then this is vertical if you want to put it vertical. Then here info is also here. You put the title here. Now you can also add shapes here. If you go under here, you see that you have shapes here. You have text, polygon, polyline. You can also have other things you can add here. Assuming I want to add the shape of rectangle, which is a neat line, is very, very important to me. Then I can go ahead and click here and drag it across it like this and fit it in here. This become my neat line. Then what else do I need? I can also add some shape here. Like if you click here and go ahead and say under here, let me just put it in a small place here. I'm going to click here. So this is the shape I want to put here. Now once I put the shape here, then if you remember, you need to select it here. This will be selected. You open up here and see the symbol. Here you can see the not arrow and different other arrows. So I'm just going to say I want to put not arrow here, like using any of them. So let me put here and I can put the not arrow here. This is what I want to put as not. So this is also added for me here. I can change the pattern the way I want it to be, the way whichever I want it to. So sorry, press Ctrl Z. So I can put it the whichever I want it to put it and off. Now once I'm done, I can put other information that is necessary. Remember, next time we're going to put Rwanda shapefile and cut it to Rwanda shapefile, because now we're just showing the extent. So we're going to use the Rwanda shapefile. Majorly, that's what we're going to focus that day, because now I don't have time for us to get that done that way. So once you click on this, you go to file, you go to export here, and this is going to open up for you, and let us type it as Rwanda EU map. Now under here you have the options here, PDF vector, PDF raster. So I want to put it in PDF vector, then I just need to go ahead and export it. So I will click on save, and that's going to ask me another question here. How do I want it to be? So you can go ahead and leave it here. This is vector. What is the dot per inch and rest of them? What is the embedded size? This is a place you have option, and this is the scaling. So if you just want it, you can click OK here, and that's going to run, going to export for you. Then it has been exported. So if you return back to where the folder we created as software, and you can see Rwanda shapefile here. So you open it up here, and boom, you have your map created in this pattern. So you can see this is the output of the map we created. So this is a way to get it done. So we'll dive deeper to it, and I can show you can create a geological map, add point to it, like the way if I want to put Musanze, Muhanga, and rest of them, I'm going to label it for you, put it as a point style. I will bring point, line, and polygon for you, and we overlay it here. Assume you want to simulate the flood, or you want to see the flood. Where is the flood affecting the road? Where is affecting building footprint? Which rest of them. So we are going to get that done here. But as you can see here, this is the output of this particular file format we have created. So if you have